Close your eyes. Welcome to the nightly lecture channel 7 Night. Take a slow, deep breath and the same soft, gentle exhale. Let the day slowly dissolve. Let the worries step back until all that remains is the dim half-light of the room, the whisper of your blanket, and my voice. Tonight, we're going somewhere, a place almost everyone has heard of, but perhaps no one has truly been to. A place where ships vanish without a trace, airplanes disappear from radar, and explanations always fall just a little bit short. To a mysterious stretch of ocean between Miami, the Bermuda Islands, and Puerto Rico, known as the Bermuda Triangle. But this will not be a horror story. Rather, a quiet journey through legends, facts, scientific theories, and human fears. We will gently unpack what has truly happened in these waters, what is supported by documents, and what was born from newspaper headlines and imagination. Why this part of the ocean became a symbol of a cursed place, what pilots and sailors say, and which natural phenomena might be hiding behind the words, "the ship disappeared." And most importantly, why the Bermuda Triangle so easily ignites the imagination and so calmly lets you drift to sleep with the thought of a distant ocean where waves shimmer at night and the lights of rare passing ships glow softly in the dark. Get comfortable. Pull the blanket over you. Feel your body growing heavier. And now, let us slowly step into the story of the Bermuda Triangle and allow all the frightening legends to turn into a quiet nighttime tale, a story you can listen to and fall asleep to. There is no official border, no marked zone, no red warning line drawn across nautical charts. And yet sailors, pilots, and researchers speak of it as if it were a real physical place, the Bermuda Triangle, a name that appeared not in maps but in newspapers, born from stories of vanished ships, silent radios, and horizons swallowed by storms no one saw coming. The triangle is said to stretch between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, but its edges are fluid. Some draw them wider, others tighter, as if the mystery itself resists being defined. Early maritime logs describe strange events in these waters long before journalists coined the name. Captains complained of compasses that spun without reason. Crewmen saw lights descending into the waves. Some wrote that the sea changed color without warning, from crystal blue to metallic gray, as if the ocean were hiding something beneath its surface. But all these fragments floated separately until one event tied them together, one disappearance that created the legend. Before Flight 19, before the Cyclops, before the modern myth, there were only scattered whispers in the wind. What made the world notice was not a shipwreck or a storm, but the feeling that something in this region did not behave the way it should. Waves rose too suddenly, storms moved too fast, and radios fell silent as if swallowed by the sky. Even today, scientists explain the area with currents, weather patterns, and human error. But those who have sailed through the triangle say, there is something different here. Not supernatural, but undeniable. A silence that presses against the hull. A brightness in the sky that doesn't match the hour. A sensation as if the sea is watching. The Bermuda Triangle does not exist on maps, yet it exists in every story of those who crossed it. It was December 5th, 1945, a calm afternoon over the Atlantic. Clear skies, light winds, nothing that hinted at history about to fracture. Flight 19, 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, took off from Fort Lauderdale for a routine training mission. The crew consisted of young pilots, many of them veterans of World War II. They had flown through storms, enemy fire, and nights far darker than this one. This flight should have lasted 3 hours. Instead, it became the most famous disappearance in aviation history. Their commander, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, was experienced but uneasy that day. His compass malfunctioned early in the flight. At first, no one worried. Spare compasses were standard, but then the second compass began giving contradictory readings. Minutes turned into warnings. Radio operators recorded the confusion as Taylor's voice crackled through the static. "We can't tell where we are. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean doesn't look like it should." One pilot said the sea looked white. Another reported that the sky moved in circles. As the squadron flew deeper into what they believed was the Bahamas, the world around them began to distort. Navigation broke down. Communication weakened. Their last coherent message was chilling. "We are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know which way is west." Then, silence. No distress flares, no crash signal, just the hum of static. When they failed to return, a massive rescue operation began. Within hours, a rescue aircraft, a PBM Mariner seaplane with 13 men aboard, also vanished after reporting it was approaching Flight 19's last known position. 2 disappearances in one night. 24 men gone. Searches lasted weeks. No wreckage, no bodies, not a fragment of metal. It was as if the sky had opened and swallowed them whole. Investigators were left with contradictions. Radios functioned, but voices were faint. Compasses spun, though the weather was stable. Pilots described visuals that made no sense. The ocean gave up nothing. The official Navy report concluded, "Cause unknown." And with those words, the Bermuda Triangle stepped out of rumor and into legend. Some disappearances happen in storms, some in silence, but the most terrifying ones happen on calm seas. The Bermuda Triangle is home to several tragedies that defy logic, but 3 ships stand out above all. Enormous vessels, each capable of surviving hurricanes, each vanishing as if erased by an unseen hand. 1. The USS Cyclops, the giant that never reached port. It was one of the largest ships in the U.S. Navy's fleet, 542 feet long, over 300 sailors on board, loaded with 10,000 tons of cargo. In March 1918, the Cyclops left Barbados bound for Baltimore. The weather was normal, the ocean calm. No SOS signals were sent. Not a single distress flare was seen along the shipping routes. Then, nothing. The ship vanished between one sunrise and the next without leaving even an oil slick behind. The U.S. Navy searched for months, combing thousands of square miles. No wreckage, no debris, no bodies. To this day, the Cyclops remains the largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history, and its disappearance is completely unexplained. President Woodrow Wilson said, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." But even the sea gave no answers. 2. Marine Sulphur. Queen, the ship that carried fire in its belly in February 1963. The Marine Sulphur Queen set out from Beaumont, Texas, carrying 15,000 tons of molten sulfur, a dangerous, pressurized cargo that had already caused problems on previous voyages. Her last radio message was routine, her course stable, the weather calm. Then, somewhere near the Florida Straits, the ship disappeared. The the Coast Guard found only a few life preservers, a small piece of debris. Nothing else, experts suggested. An explosion, a hull failure, a fire. But none of these explanations matched the almost total absence of wreckage. The official report ended the same way as many others in these waters. Cause unknown. 3. The Wichita Chief, lost in clear weather. In 1964, the Wichita Chief, a modern cargo ship with a veteran crew, vanished on a routine voyage from Puerto Rico to Florida. There were no storms, no distress calls, no mechanical problems on record. Eyewitnesses from nearby vessels later reported something strange: a sudden, unnatural fog, thick and metallic, rising from the surface of calm water. By the time the fog cleared, the Wichita Chief was gone. Search teams found nothing, not even a floating crate. The pattern that shouldn't exist. These ships were massive, well-maintained, fully staffed, and traveling in normal conditions. None issued a distress call, none left wreckage, none were ever found. It is this pattern, complete erasure, that made the Bermuda Triangle impossible to ignore. Even the ocean, usually so quick to return the dead, remained silent. And with every new disappearance, the triangle grew not in size, but in mystery. A place where things vanish, not violently, but completely, as if passing through a door no human eye can see. To understand the Bermuda Triangle, you must first understand the ocean itself, not as a body of water, but as a living force. In most parts of the world, the sea follows rules, but here, it breaks them. The Gulf Stream, a river inside the ocean. The triangle sits on one of the strongest ocean currents on Earth. The Gulf Stream, a massive underwater river flowing faster than many ships can sail. Its surface looks calm, but beneath, it can drag debris hundreds of miles an hour. It can erase evidence of shipwrecks. It can scatter remains so widely that nothing is ever found. This alone explains why wreckage vanishes, but it does not explain why so many ships go down in the first place. And the storms that form. Too fast meteorologists have long observed a disturbing phenomenon in this region. Storms appear out of nowhere. On radar, nothing. 10 minutes later, a wall of black clouds. Within 30 minutes, winds strong enough to tear apart small aircraft. Pilots reported skies going from clear blue to violent gray, as if someone flipped a switch. One described it like this: the sky cracked open. These storms are so sudden that even experienced captains barely have time to react. Monsters the size of buildings. For centuries, sailors spoke of waves higher than houses. Waves no one believed existed. Now we know they are real. Rogue waves can reach heights of 20, 25, even 30 meters. They strike without warning in otherwise calm seas. They can flip ships the size of skyscrapers. Satellite data shows the triangle is one of the most active regions for rogue waves on Earth. A single wave of that size could swallow a ship like the Cyclops whole and leave nothing behind. Underwater vortices and suction zones. In the deep trenches near the Bahamas, the ocean floor drops suddenly. These drop-offs create violent whirlpools and pressure shifts that destabilize ships, pull debris downward, distort sonar signals. Divers have described areas where the water falls downward like a liquid cliff. Some scientists believe planes that crash into these zones could sink so deep, so fast, that they become impossible to locate. The sky is wrong, too strange. Cloud formations are common here, one of the most mysterious hexagonal microburst clouds. NASA satellites captured them, forming walls of wind that hit the ocean with explosive force, send waves outward in all directions, create surface winds up to 160 kilometers per hour. A microburst directly under an airplane can bring it down in seconds. A ship caught beneath one can split in two. And yet, these clouds leave behind no trace, just silence. A place where nature refuses to behave. Taken separately, these phenomena, currents, waves, storms, vortices, exist all over the world. But in the Bermuda Triangle, they overlap. Like gears in a machine designed to erase, a ship weakened by a rogue wave is swallowed by a vortex, its remains carried off by the Gulf Stream, erased by a storm that forms minutes later. A plane hit by microburst winds falls into a sea that gives nothing back. This is the true terror of the triangle, not the supernatural, but the deadly precision of nature, working in perfect, merciless coordination. For decades, scientists have searched for a rational explanation for why ships and planes vanish in the Bermuda Triangle without a trace. One of the most intriguing theories comes not from the sky, but from deep beneath the ocean floor. It begins with methane, a gas that can sleep for centuries, then awaken with devastating force. Frozen explosives beneath the sea. Along the continental shelf near the Bahamas and Florida, vast fields of methane hydrates lie buried in the seabed. They look like ice, but burn like fuel. When the underwater pressure shifts, from earthquakes, shifting tectonic plates, or even underwater landslides, these hydrates can destabilize, and when they destabilize, they release enormous bubbles of methane gas that rush upward toward the surface, invisible, silent, deadly. If a large methane bubble erupts beneath a vessel, the effect is catastrophic. The density of the water instantly decreases. The ship loses buoyancy. Even a giant vessel can drop straight down as if falling through air. No time for a distress call. No debris left on the surface. This is not theory. It has been demonstrated in scientific experiments. In controlled tanks, entire ship models sink instantly when methane hydrates are released below them. Imagine this occurring in the open ocean. Now imagine it happening at night. Could methane bring down airplanes too? Surprisingly, yes. Methane rising rapidly into the atmosphere can create pockets of low-density air, turbulence strong enough to disrupt flight, sudden engine failures if gas displaces oxygen, misleading instrument readings. Pilots flying over such zones have reported bizarre effects: white fog rising from the ocean, air that felt thinner, engines coughing. Methane also reflects radar poorly, meaning an aircraft passing through such a plume might simply vanish from screens. And after the gas disperses, no trace remains. Is this the whole story? Probably not. Methane eruptions explain how a ship or plane might disappear instantly without distress calls, debris, or survivors. They explain the silence. They explain the clean vanishings. But methane eruptions are rare and unpredictable. They cannot account for every disappearance. Not the compass failures, not the strange lights, not the time anomalies reported by pilots. Yet the theory adds another layer to the triangle's mystery, a geological threat as old as the Earth itself, waiting in darkness below, detonating without warning. Nature doesn't need the supernatural to be terrifying. If there is one phenomenon that appears again and again in reports from the Bermuda Triangle, it is this: instruments fail without reason, without warning, and all at once Compasses spin, radios fall silent, navigation systems freeze or display impossible readings. Even modern aircraft with advanced electronics report moments of total disorientation. To understand the triangle, you must understand what happens in the air above it, because sometimes the sky is stranger than the sea. The compass problem. One of the oldest mysteries of the region is the compass behavior. Normally, compasses point to magnetic north, not true north, but in very rare parts of the world, they point directly to true north. One of those locations, according to early navigators, inside the Bermuda Triangle. When a compass shifts between these two states, pilots and captains who rely on precise headings can drift dangerously off course without realizing it. Historically, this could mean a ship ended up hundreds of miles from where it was supposed to be, and into waters where storms, reefs, or currents finished the job. But this is only the surface of the mystery. Magnetic dead zones. Modern reports describe something more troubling. Places where compasses don't just drift, they stop, as if tugged by an invisible field, as if the Earth's magnetic force disappears for a moment. Pilots have described needles locked in place, violent swings of 30 to 40 degrees, instruments giving opposite directions within seconds. These anomalies are often accompanied by radio interference. Radios that fail without explanation. One of the earliest signs of trouble in both ships and aircraft is the sudden death of communication. Rescue logs from the Navy, Coast Guard, and FAA include hundreds of entries like signal faded abruptly, static only, no voice, transmission distorted beyond recognition. Even high-frequency military channels sometimes go dark. This is not typical, not even in storms. Something in this region interferes with electromagnetic waves, as if the atmosphere itself is alive. Ionospheric distortions. Scientists propose that the triangle lies in an area where the ionosphere behaves unpredictably. This upper layer of the atmosphere is responsible for reflecting radio waves. When it fluctuates, signals cue, bend, scatter, weaken, or vanish entirely. This could explain why Flight 19's messages were faint even though they were nearby. But again, it doesn't explain everything. The electronic fog. Many pilots described entering a strange cloud-like formation, a dense gray mist that clung to the aircraft. Inside the fog, electronic panels flickered, compasses spun, clocks lost time, radio signals dissolved. When they emerged, they found themselves miles off course, as if time or space had warped around them. One pilot, Bruce Gernon, claimed the fog formed tunnels that pulled his plane forward unnaturally fast. His story remains controversial, but the instrument logs show abnormalities that scientists still cannot fully explain. The silent sky. When electromagnetic anomalies strike, pilots lose navigation, ships drift off course, radios become useless, radar screens go blank, and in a region with fast storms, deep trenches, and treacherous currents, a moment of confusion is enough to seal fate. Technology becomes blind, human senses fail, the sky itself becomes a trap. This is why even with modern aircraft and ships equipped with GPS and satellite communication, the triangle still claims victims, not often, but enough to keep its legend alive. The ocean can swallow ships, storms can tear apart wings, but the most unsettling stories from the Bermuda Triangle are not about destruction. They're about time itself behaving like something alive. For decades, pilots and sailors have reported experiences that sound impossible. minutes missing from clocks, distances traveled too quickly or too slowly, and strange clouds that seem to bend reality around them. These accounts are not from storytellers. They come from trained navigators, military personnel, and commercial pilots whose careers depended on precision. Something in this region seems to reach beyond the physical, touching perception, time, and space. Pilots flying routine routes have reported landing 20 to 30 minutes earlier than possible, even with tailwinds. Fuel burn logs confirm the time doesn't add up. Radar records show jumps inconsistent with normal flight speeds. One airline captain wrote in his report, "We crossed 80 miles in what should have been 20 minutes. Instruments showed normal speed. Clocks did not." The FAA dismissed such cases as instrument error, but pilots insist the experience is real. Some aviators described entering a perfectly circular corridor inside a cloud, a tunnel with smooth rotating walls of mist. Inside, radios crackled, clocks flickered, lightning flashed silently. The plane felt pulled forward. When they emerged, they were miles off their intended route, sometimes past it. Bruce Gernon's famous encounter in 1970 remains one of the most documented. He claims his plane was accelerated through space, cutting a 75-minute flight to 47 minutes. Skeptics argue atmospheric distortion, but the radar recordings match his timeline, the gray cloud that swallows ships. Sailors have reported seeing dense, unnatural fog banks drifting above the water. Inside these fogs, visibility drops to zero, compasses spin, radios die. Crew members become disoriented, unable to tell direction or distance. One captain described the fog as metallic like smoke from machinery, but cold and silent. Another reported the air feeling charged, as if full of static. When ships leave the fog, hours may have passed without explanation. Electromagnetic bubbles. Scientists studying the region discovered disturbances known as electromagnetic microbursts, bubbles of ionized air that move unpredictably over the ocean. Inside these bubbles, timekeeping equipment, even atomic precision clocks, can drift momentarily, not by hours but by seconds or minutes, enough to confuse navigation, enough to disorient a pilot at night. Air Force logbooks contain reports of minute-long discrepancies in synchronized flight clocks over this region, a rare occurrence, and where time slips, so does direction. What happens? When reality bends individually, these anomalies could be dismissed: fog, clouds, instruments, weather. But in the Bermuda Triangle, they often appear together. A pilot enters an unusual cloud, loses radio contact, watches his compass spin, and emerges miles from where he should be, missing time he cannot account for. A ship moves into a gray fog and comes out hours later, with navigational logs showing contradictions. These stories form a pattern that is impossible to ignore. It's not proof of the supernatural, but it suggests that in the triangle, the boundary between normal physics and atmospheric extremes grows thin enough for time to slip, thin enough for reality to bend. Among all explanations for the Bermuda Triangle, none is more debated, more ridiculed, and yet more persistently reported than the sightings of strange lights and objects, both in the sky and beneath the waves. Not the classic flying saucers of science fiction, but movements, glows, and behaviors that do not match anything known to aviation, astronomy, or marine technology. For centuries, sailors crossing the region have described luminous shapes emerging from the ocean at night. They speak of white spheres, lifting silently from the surface, blue streaks rising like arrows, or green orbs drifting upward before vanishing into the clouds. One tanker crew in the 1970s swore they saw a glowing object rise from the sea without breaking the water, as if it passed through the surface rather than through matter. The witness described the ocean not splashing but parting like silk. Modern military logs add a deeper layer to the mystery. Navy sonar operators have recorded underwater objects moving at speeds no submarine can match. Some are tracked, descending thousands of feet in seconds, turning at impossible angles, or accelerating without engine noise. One 1966 sonar record from the USS Santa Clara documented an object plunging from 3,000 to 14,000 feet. Almost instantly, human craft cannot survive such depth changes. Commercial pilots have also reported encounters. During a routine Miami-Puerto Rico flight in 1989, a captain and dozens of passengers observed 3 bright lights pacing the aircraft for nearly 10 minutes. The objects moved silently without turbulence and then shot vertically upward, disappearing in an instant. Air traffic control saw nothing. The passengers did. Because the triangle contains some of the deepest ocean trenches on Earth, including the Milwaukee Deep, plunging over 8 kilometers, some researchers speculate that if unknown craft exist, their origin may lie beneath the water rather than above it. In the 1990s, satellite imaging detected rectangular heat signatures on the ocean floor near this area. No volcanic activity or known technology could explain them. What makes this hypothesis especially unsettling is how often these sightings coincide with the triangle's electromagnetic disturbances. The regions where pilots see glowing spheres are the same areas where compasses fail, where radios collapse into static, where ships lose track of time or disappear without sending distress calls. Whatever the lights are, natural plasma, rare atmospheric phenomena, or something beyond our understanding, they seem tied to the same forces that distort instruments and confuse navigation. Skeptics argue that human perception in stressful conditions can create illusions, and yet the reports come not from frightened tourists, but from seasoned sailors, military personnel, commercial pilots, radar operators, people trained to identify aircraft, weather patterns, and sea conditions. Their descriptions contain consistency across decades, nationalities, and languages. Nothing has been proven, but nothing has been disproven either. And this is the heart of the mystery. The Bermuda Triangle is a place where ocean trenches, atmospheric anomalies, electromagnetic forces, and human psychology intersect. In such a place, it becomes difficult to determine where nature ends and something else begins. Sometimes a mystery persists because the answer does not exist. And sometimes it persists because the answer is one we are not ready to accept. If there is a place on Earth where secrets thrive, it is the Bermuda Triangle. Not because of legends, but because of something far more concrete, the heavy military presence that surrounds it. The U.S. Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and classified research programs have operated in these waters for decades. And while most of it can be explained by geography and strategy, certain patterns have sparked questions that refuse to disappear. The triangle sits near critical shipping lanes, deep water trenches ideal for submarine navigation, and one of the largest natural testing ranges on the planet. Officially, this is why the region bristles with radar stations, underwater listening arrays, and restricted zones. Unofficially, those who serve here often report things they are not allowed to explain. There are stories from former crewmen who claim that sonar has picked up enormous objects moving silently beneath the waves, too large, too fast, too deep to match any known submarine. Operators describe contacts that appear suddenly, accelerate instantly, then vanish as if swallowed by the sea. The official response to such logs is always the same: equipment malfunction. But even equipment malfunctions leave patterns, and these do not. During the Cold War, this region became a listening post for tracking Soviet submarines. Documents declassified decades later mention unusual acoustic signatures detected repeatedly in the same area, sounds unlike any sub, animal, or geological activity. Some files remain heavily redacted with entire pages blacked out. Then there is the base known as AUTEC, the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, located in the Bahamas. Officially, it is a Navy facility for testing underwater weapons, vehicles, and sonar. Unofficially, it has been called the Underwater Area 51. Local fishermen speak of nights when the water glows from below. Sailors describe hearing low-frequency hums vibrating through the hull. Divers claim to see sudden flashes in the deep where light should not exist. Nothing is confirmed, but everything is hinted. There are also reports that during certain classified missions, radar operators track targets that appear just above the ocean surface, then disappear below it. Not aircraft, not known drones, something else, something that moves between air and water as if both were the same. What makes these accounts so unsettling is that they echo the other mysteries of the triangle: the compass failures, the strange lights, the lost time, the sudden disappearances. It is as if all these elements share a common root, one that military personnel encounter more often than they admit. The military denies any connection to the disappearances, yet the silence surrounding certain incidents suggests that not everything is meant for the public to know. The more carefully a mystery is hidden, the more it demands to be examined. Whether the triangle hides secret technology, unknown natural forces, or something entirely different, one truth remains. This is a place where the line between known and classified is as thin as the horizon. By the time you reach the final chapter of the Bermuda Triangle's story, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The legend has grown beyond the sum of its disappearances. It is larger than science, larger than myth, larger even than the ocean that birthed it. And yet the heart of the mystery remains simple: too many questions, too few answers. Over the decades, investigators have pointed to storms, rogue waves, compass variations, human error, methane gas eruptions, powerful currents, and electromagnetic anomalies. All of these are real. All of them can be deadly. Each one explains a piece of the puzzle, but none explain it fully. Why do ships disappear without sending distress calls? Why do planes drop off radar in clear weather? Why does the ocean erase all evidence? Why does time itself behave strangely in these skies? Why do lights rise from the water and objects dive into it without a splash? Science offers fragments, but the triangle refuses to be reduced to a single cause. That's the true power of this place. It is a crossroads where nature is extreme, where weather is violent, where the sea is deep, where magnetism is unstable, where military secrets linger, and where the human mind fills the gaps with fear and imagination. The Bermuda Triangle is not one mystery. It is many, layered, overlapping, feeding each other like currents swirling in the deep. Maybe the triangle is dangerous not because of the unknown, but because of the illusion of the known, the belief that we understand the sea, that we control it, that it obeys us. Here, the ocean reminds us that we know far less than we think. Perhaps that is why the story endures. Not because we fear monsters in the deep, but because we fear that in some places the world still refuses to follow our rules. And in a time when we map every coastline and photograph every star, the Bermuda Triangle remains one of the last places where mystery survives, untamed, unbroken, unexplainable, a place where logic thins, where legends breathe, and where the ocean whispers the same question that has echoed for almost a century. What happened here? No one can answer it, and maybe no one ever will. That is why the Bermuda Triangle is immortal. Not a danger on the map, but a reminder that even in the modern world, there are corners of the earth where the unknown still waits.